Hello and welcome to Life in the Mind, a neurodivergent podcast by neurodivergent people. I'm Maurice Spear, and my usual co-host, Joy Amy Wigman, is sadly unable to be with us today. So we have a magical special guest. Who is a magical special guest?
It's Paul Avery. I did my own voice. Come on down. You've said I'm magical both times I've been on, which is I like that.
I mean, you've also got like an aura around you too.
Sure, magic.
Proper magic.
ADHD, man. Magic.
Magic ADHD, man. Yeah. Anyway, we are here with Christine. Hello, Christine.
Hello.
Christine Searl.
Yes.
Would be helpful to say the whole name. Yeah. And we're going to chat about neurodivergence and hoarding.
Yes, so I'm playing the part of Joy Amy, as you know, and she does a bit of research.
I was half expecting you to do your wife's voice there.
Hello, I'm Joy Amy.
Paul is also Joy Amy's husband, and so there's loads of little
I wouldn't do a Kent accent.
No. Anyway. But yes, hoarding.
So the Journal of Psychiatric Research found that nearly 1 in 5 participants with ADHD reported significant hoarding symptoms. And hoarding shares some similar symptoms with some autistic traits. And Christine's a bit of an expert on on hoarding.
Because you're part of starting a project.
Both.
What's your
both. I work for ClousEnd, which is a community interest company based in Birmingham, and they provide hoarding support to citizens of Birmingham. So I work part-time for them as a hoarding coordinator, but I also have my own experience working within the housing sector as a sort of mental health outreach support. So I've set up my own business now doing hoarding practitioner work, so I can work across different counties in Worcestershire, Gloucestershire and anywhere else that's needed, alongside my role in Birmingham. So that's where my expertise comes from, is that adult health and social care background and housing background, working with people in their own homes.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of experience from different kind of angles.
Yeah, and do you see those sort of facts worked out in the community in terms of that link between neurodivergence and?
Yeah, one of the things is that it's difficult to give specifics based on obviously the work that I've done with regards to numbers or anything like that. But there is definitely a lot of work being done at the moment, actually research-wise, trying to understand how the organising element and categorising element of neurodivergency, that's the challenges that people face, influence hoarding behaviours. So it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody has hoarding disorder, which is a mental health disorder in itself. It's those hoarding behaviours, which means that the home gets cluttered. So if I explain about what hoarding is,
yes.
So hoarding, the definition of hoarding is that it's the excessive acquiring of items in your home or a space that prevents that space from being used as it is intended.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yep,
so if you think about your home, you've got a bathroom. Yeah. So if you've got excessive amounts of items in that bathroom and you're not able to use that as a bathroom, so you're not able to use the sink, the bath and the toilet, then that room would be classed as hoarded.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, and similar with the kitchen and the lounge, and your bed. I mean, one of the big things with people who have hoarding behaviours and hoarded items in their home is that they might not be able to lie in their bed fully. They haven't got a clear space on their bed. It's full of things sort of next to them and around them, or they might not be able to use their bedroom at all, and they might be sleeping on the sofa and things like that. So that's where the definition kind of comes from about what hoarding is.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting one, because it's especially in that way of a room becomes hoarded. So it really shows that it's the difference between like collecting things and a level of like really, really enthusiastically collecting things, and then it's that point of it becoming a barrier. It's that switch point between a kind of behaviour and a disorder. Is that what's the
No, I think you can have both, or you can have one and not the other. So
yeah, but I mean, and that's what I mean. Where it turns from one into the other, there's almost a flip point. Is that you're the expert? Am I misunderstanding?
No, I don't think that there's necessarily a flip point. I think what happens is that things happen in people's lives. So just talking and thinking about hoarding behaviour, it can start from trauma. So some life experiences, so that can be a trigger for the hoarding behaviours. It can also be a genetic thing. It can also be a learnt behaviour as well. So that if they live in a hoarded home, it can also be obviously linked with disorganisation and that categorisation sort of, or not having those skills, or just not knowing where to start. So I think there's not necessarily sort of a flip point, but the difference between collecting items and having a hoarded home, let's say, is the fact that actually it's organised. If you have a collection of things, so if you're a collector of items, it's organised, it's categorised, it's stored well, all those kind of things. And our homes are not free of items.
No.
So for our homes to be functioning, we still need things like that. You need a kettle, you need spoons, you need plates, you need, we like books. If you're a reader,
kettles that are then coming in the way of the toilet.
But you can
and they're usually working, aren't they? So if you've got a kettle, it's usually working. But keeping a kettle that's broken,
but you can really see how. I'm just thinking from an ADHD perspective, how ADHD can lead to hoarding, because for a lot of people with ADHD, you get your sort of thing of the month, or your thing of, I'm absolutely obsessed with clock radios, and I bought 19. But that was 3 months ago. Now I have 19 clock radios that I'm not even vaguely interested in anymore. And because I have so little interest, I'm not even going to get rid of them. And then, but I'm on to my new thing, and I'm buying antique telescopes. and you can see how ADHD just leads to hoarding, because also the organisation and
definitely. I mean, for myself, having a diagnosis of ADHD has helped me understand some of those patterns of behaviours that you've been talking about. So I'm a crafter. And I absolutely love cooking. Yeah, you laugh.
It's like relating to how many notebooks and things, random like pens and stuff do you have, or bits of wool.
Oh, notebooks don't even go there. But, I have to have a system.
Cool.
I have to have a system at home.
Yeah.
So everything in my home has a place.
Yeah, okay.
It has to have a place, because otherwise what happens is I end up, if I need a stapler, if I didn't have all my stationery kept in the same place, I would be looking around my house for a stapler. And then you're talking about a 3-hour rabbit hole of things that I've then gone and sorted and done in every single room while I'm looking for this stapler. And I still haven't found the stapler, but I've sorted out all my paperwork and filed it in a folder. I've cleaned the kitchen, and I've gone into the bathroom, I've done some washing, and I've probably crafted a blanket. All in that space of time, but I still haven't found the stapler. So for my own way of working in my home, for me to be able to function, everything has its place.
Are you managing to, I'm now like slightly in awe of you if you're managing to, because I go through periods of trying to create that order in my life. And are you managing to
no, most of the time. So I do have what I call piles of doom.
Right. Yep.
Piles of doom. So these are I have certain places in my house that if I'm busy going on to one thing, or just mentally can't deal with something, so I have a space for under the key bowl that is specifically for things that need dealing with. So every time I go to the key bowl, I'm reminded that it needs doing, because I can see it. So that's, and I have other places so I have other places. So 9 times out of 10, my home functions really well for me. But it only takes, like you say, a period of dysregulation, a period of not feeling very well in myself physically because of my other illnesses, that I then those piles creep up, and then I get overwhelmed. And this is one of the really big things with the hoarding behaviours, is that sometimes they build up to a point where you just don't know where to start.
One thing I'm interested in, it keeps kind of jumping to my brain, is so does the intention behind the hoarding matter in terms of, because, so like, for example, if you've had stuff build up without you really noticing it, or maybe from like hyperfixations that then pass, or you know, you just haven't been able to address the recycling for ages, and that's just building up and up and up and up. Is there a difference between that and like intentionally keeping the things?
Yeah, I think there is. I think there's a big difference between that disorganisation and, or maybe not having those skills of organising and categorising, and the other side, which is the link to trauma and the link to the emotional attachment to items. So
the unwillingness to let go of things rather than the haven't got around to it.
Definitely. Just thinking about sort of with neurodivergence, about the fact that how you talk about the items in the person's home really matters as well, because there is an emotional attachment to those items. For anyone who hoards items in their home, it's a challenge for them to let go. So to have that item leave the home can cause emotional distress. And I think that's one of the really big things to be aware of, because what used to happen for people who hoarded items and had hoarding behaviours is that they would be forced cleans, what they call forced cleans. Yeah. And then all those items would just be cleared out of the home, and it would cause trauma or re-traumatising. Yes. Because sometimes people have hoarded items because they've gone through periods in their life where they haven't had what their needs met. So they haven't maybe had those emotional needs met. They haven't maybe had those physical needs met. And there's a reason behind the hoarding behaviours. Yeah. It's not just about the stuff. No. It never is just about the stuff. Yeah.
Like one thing that, so I'm getting quite emotional talking about this, but I think that's really important to bring into this in terms of that truth, because I've strongly resonate with various parts of this, especially at awful times in my life like that have happened, and to kind of linking to the autism side, or like that aspect of the neurodivergencies, so I have strong like a lot of objects will almost have a personality. I won't want to hurt the feeling of the object, and there's an autism thing in there that is, I think it's on the edge of a diagnostic trait, that kind of tendency to animate, personify, yes, an object.
Oh, lovely! That's the correct word. Well done.
Thank you to my husband who introduced me to that word.
Because I remember it in my assessment being talked about, and I was like, yeah. So did I pick up? One way I make choices about the thing that so it's an interesting, weird life hack thing, is one way I make choices about what I'm going to buy, between like a few cereals. I'll go, ooh, that box is damaged. I feel sorry for it. No one else will buy it. I'll buy that one.
That's right.
Yeah.
That, and I wonder if it is an autistic trait, because there's absolutely Joy Amy, because that's why I'm thinking, like, so Joy Amy's autistic, and I think another thing that I see for people with autism is that change is a big deal for them.
Yeah.
And if you have an emotional connection to almost every item in your home, and then someone's trying to get you to get rid of them, you've not only got an emotional attachment thing, you've also got, you want me to change. And so for me and Joy Amy, I have a lot of managing her emotion. I'm like, so this thing, okay, yes, it's a movie, it's a film that you once watched with someone you claim is a close friend but haven't spoken to for 10 years. But let's not worry about that. You just think about whether we should keep hold of that.
And because for you it doesn't make sense.
And also what I'm trying to do is go,
like,
there it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say we're throwing
for
this and this is rubbish, this is junk, because I know to you it isn't junk, and I know change is hard. So let's just put it there. And then I know that in time, Joy Amy can work through those emotions and work through that and go, yeah, you're right. We do not need to keep this DVD that is streamed on Netflix.
And that's absolutely the process. And it's a really healthy process to work with that person, because we don't know what emotions that evokes, what memories. And this is the really key thing, is that for a lot of people, there are memories associated. So for us, it could be a receipt. But actually, for that person, it's got an experience attached to it. And so that's part of that person's life. So they don't want to let go, or it can feel like letting go of part of your life by letting go of that item that you've got that strong emotional attachment to.
And something I am very aware of is that I was talking to Paul about this before we started recording today, about how for me, so now people have mind palaces, and they like go through. I have a mind nebula, which I might have talked about on another podcast, but it's like if people have seen Iron Man, the Marvel film where he's got these gloves, or like just his hands, he gestures and moves stuff around, and it's all like linked, and it's just a file system. Mine's like that, but it's all like a giant constellation that kind of shifts and flows constantly. And I've realised that certain physical objects help anchor that. And so I do need a certain level of certain things that have a strong emotional attachment, or certain amount of strong memory links, because then those are the core point of a folder almost of my mind nebula. And that actually, if I take away too much of, because I always have this thing of like trying to manage kind of those tendencies, or especially because I've had various just traumatic points in my life which have definitely exacerbated those tendencies. And I definitely can control it better, and or just go through periods of going, I don't need that at the moment because I've actually worked through that. I can give that away, or someone else can enjoy that, things like that. But then I've noticed that really my memories are anchored, and I have lots of stuff in my brain at all times. I find it hard to actually, I don't forget things very easily. So I hold a lot of information in my brain, and I'm picking up a lot. And actually what some physical objects do is allow me to hold this mind nebula intact. And it's that balancing point between the two things that I'm constantly aware of.
And it is a balancing act. And, thank you for explaining that, because that visual really helps me with my work that I do, helping to understand. And that's what's great about these conversations, is that we're learning that even though everybody's so individual how they process things, but by talking about it and having those words that I can then hear helps me to understand potentially some of the process that's involved in that. And whether you have autism or any other ADHD or any other neurodivergence, it's what you've explained there is very similar process for a lot of people who have hoarding behaviours. So the people that I've worked with have explained in their own way a similar thing that you've just explained there, about the fact that having these items in the home around them anchors them to places that, one, they either feel safe because they're full of the things that they've got memories attached to them, whether they be positive or negative memories. It's part of them, and it's part of their life and their experience. But it helps to anchor them, it helps them, makes them feel safe. And it's that familiarity with those things around them in their home. They may never be able to find a pen. They may never be able to find that photograph of so-and-so. But actually, when we've been working with people and helping them to sort through and categorise and deal with those emotions and make those decisions about what to keep, what not to keep, those memories come flashing back with such sort of strong emotional intensity, giving them space to deal and process with that. And that's what, with the work that we try to do, is try and give people that time. Unfortunately, systems in society don't necessarily allow us to give that time because of the way they're designed. But we're always working with agencies to help them understand that actually if you give this person time to process and deal with some of the psychological aspects involved in the hoarding behaviour, actually, one, you get better results because the longevity of the success of managing that hoarding behaviour is key, is there. But two, the person has much more success because they then feel they're able to cope better, and their environment is an environment that they actually feel happy to live in.
Yes, because that's another thing that I'm very much in a place these days where I'm also aware I get overwhelmed by clutter to like the nth degree massively. So like you, everything in my house has a place. But also I've always had kind of doom piles, but because of how my ridiculous amount of information holding brain, ridiculous, it's just like a big amount, works, I know exactly where everything is in that pile. And I can actually just immediately go to that pile and bring it out.
Yeah, my husband
and
knows not to move that doom pile because I know exactly what's been put in there.
Yeah, and it's
I
interesting.
know what I've put in there, and I know it's there, and I know that it's there. So I don't move it because I know it's there. Because if I move it, then I won't be able to find it because I currently know it's there.
Yes. And sometimes you go, I'll change that because it might be more efficient in this place. It's like, now I've forgotten what was I doing. That's
it's really interesting because Jamie and I have all that stuff you're talking about, the sort of and she loves nesting. So really what she wants is a room which has just got a space for her and everything she's ever owned surrounding her. And our old house, because we were kind of newly together and we moved in, I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm cool, man, I'm cool. But then the lounge has picked hundreds of nerd pictures, shelves with stuff on, crafting stuff, just to hand for her. And I was like, I don't know why I don't like being in our lounge. Oh, I find it utterly overwhelming. Yeah. And we have a really interesting sort of balance that we've just moved again, trying to get between she needs those things to feel happy and cozy. I need not to have 1,000 distractions because my ADHD will...
Yeah, and both of those are valid. Both of those are very much valid needs and different ways of being. And it's just finding those in-between points. Yeah, which is just how my brain constantly is going, ADHD.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got both going on in there.
Like, autism brain needs structure and all the things to be in the same place all the time. It's like constantly,
And a lot of people avoid their home because of that, because of those feelings of it's too cluttered for me, but I don't know where to start. I really don't know where to start. So having supported somebody recently who also had a diagnosis of ADHD, the verbal ping pong between us was hilarious. It was very, very constantly, like we went everywhere with our conversation, but we kept track of it, which is really key. As long as you keep track of the conversation, it's key. But the thing that he actually absolutely needed from me was for me to body double. I don't know if you've heard of body doubling.
I find body doubling extremely useful.
So I did no sorting. I helped with decision making because he struggled with decision making as well. But I did no sorting. I literally held a bin, so for bits of paper that he didn't want, etc. And I just stood there and we talked, and he looked at his room and he just did not know where to start. So we talked and we said, where would you like to? He says, well, that bit really irritates me. Every time I walk past it, I said, so let's focus on that. And you don't have to clear everything. We're not saying your home has to be empty of items. What it is it's about having the room function for you. And having your home be able to be used like a home, so being able to cook, clean, being because if you've got no floor space, you can't clean, you can't keep it free from debris and everything else. Exactly, infestations and things like that. So that's but I literally was able just to stand there and they weren't great guns. They were just like, let's sort through all this, okay. But there was times when there was just that indecisiveness of, I really don't know what to do with this. And the thing that he explained to me is at that point, if I hadn't been there, that's the point he would have given up and would have frozen and would have stopped because he wasn't able to make that decision. Whereas what I was able to do was have a conversation, ask some questions
Verbal
about
process
that.
it through in a way.
Yeah, and just kind of like, well, actually, you know, and talk about where it could go, you know, and categorize it. Well, what is it? Is it, you know, where in this home would this be a good place to put this? Where does it fit with other things?
Puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I very much have noticed is that I hit these points of because I'm now very much aware of all these things. I'm very good at challenging myself on things, going, okay, do you need this? Where does this fit in? Is it optimal to kind of functioning? And I find it harder, and I'm in more of those indecisive places when I'm less sure that the trauma will come back.
Okay.
And that makes so much sense from what you're saying in terms of like that those traumatic things might happen again, and that I might need, you know, like you can rely on physical things. Physical things won't leave you, type of thing. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of our time.
Yeah.
And we haven't even got to speak about Stacey Solomon, which is really all I wanted to talk about. No, I was going to say two things. One is we should explain what body doubling is for people listening who don't know.
Yes,
and then one thing is I wanted to see if you had a tip or a couple of top tips for us in terms of hoarding.
Okay.
So
which would you like to start first?
Let's explain body. Do you want to explain body doubling, Christine? Or do you want one of us to?
You can explain it. I think I've done a lot of talking.
I mean...
It is essentially...
Go
on.
Well, I've got ADHD, so I'll... Well, you've got it, but I'm just ADHD.
So the indecisiveness is creeping
Someone
in.
can take control.
Okay, I'm going to take it. So for me, it's having someone in the room with you while you do a task, particularly like tasks you don't want to do, like cleaning or tidying. And it is, since I discovered it, is the strangest thing, but it is literally, I'm not good with paperwork, with bills, with those things. And every so often I say, join me, could you just body double me, just sit in the room. And it's literally that much. I've also discovered my baby is fine for it. Yeah. My 18-month-old, I can do so much when it's just me and her. She's fine for it. So it's that, really.
And an interesting addition just to that is that it can also work remotely. So one of my friends runs and he started this before he found out he had ADHD, a body doubling online session. So they all go into like a chat room, forum thing, and all work at the same time. And that still works.
Well, there's also an app, isn't there?
Dubby, is it? Is it?
Dubby, yeah. I don't know. I've not used it. I follow them on Instagram as well. They're fantastic. Rocks. What are they? Rocks.
I can't remember.
Oh man, we should remember.
She's got amazing blue hair.
If you're in the neurodivergent world, your algorithm would have.
Yeah,
but they are fantastic and really helpful. Yes, some tips for us before we finish.
Okay, so don't try and do it all at once. That's the big one. Okay. Body doubling, just get someone to sit in the room with you and just distract you with talking if that helps. The other thing is to choose a space. Now, it could literally be a basket or a small tub of stuff that you want to sort. It could also be a drawer or a cupboard. So choose one space to start with. The other thing is that you can come back to it. Yes. Always remember that. You don't have to do it all at once.
That's genuinely blown my mind. I know that's really obvious, but that's really helpful.
You don't have to do it all at once. You can come back to it. And another tip is if you actually are thinking of taking things out of the home, use different coloured bags. Okay, so your face is like...
Explain.
Okay. So you have... you can get hold of green plastic bags, blue plastic bags, black bags, or white bags.
Different.
Choose a different colour for different things. So if you are choosing to, say, sort your wardrobe out or your clothes out, those that are not good for charity shops, not good for anybody else, can go in a black bag because they can go in the bin or the recycling, preferably the recycling if we can get to it. Then you could choose, say, a green bag or a blue bag or whatever colour it is for the things that you'd like to donate. And then things that you want to keep but don't want to put back in the wardrobe because you're in the middle of sorting it can be put in, say, a white bag.
That is genius. That is so good.
Interestingly, it makes complete sense to me. I'm just like, yeah, of course you do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I'm not a hoarder. And I've always managed to keep myself from slipping into that.
Because you have
kind of
moments
that
of sorting and
because
categorising.
I
and-
also have that brain that's like, I love to organise things and put them into categorising and have it really ordered into like absolute efficiency. Efficiency is like, for me. Love it. Love efficiency.
Oh man, I'm
And
jealous.
so I'm just like in this
But
space
that's
going,
been so helpful. That's so
no,
good.
those are brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
it's
helpful.
just a really good way of clearing that space,
Yeah.
but giving yourself the opportunity to know what's what. Because sometimes if you just
and
got
giving
piles
yourself
of
the
stuff.
space.
We're nearly. I
Yeah.
can see Nirvana hovering at the door.
Yeah,
I could
other
talk for
producer.
hours on the subject.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And
so
Again,
interesting.
What's your upcoming project launch thing?
Is that something we
you
can
want-
talk
yeah.
about?
do you
Oh,
want to
so we
just
did that already.
plug
That
it
was
or-
last week. So that was
Oh, yeah,
Cloud-
it was.
The project is
Time.
called Chaos to Order. And it's run by ClousEnd in partnership with a Northfield Community Partnership. It's funded by Birmingham City Council. So it's a great project. We've got funding for 3 years and working with the citizens in Birmingham. So yeah, we had the project launched last week, and there's myself and another coordinator, as well as Heather, who runs the project and is the director of ClousEnd.
Great. And we'll try and put your socials or something up, ways people can find
Yeah.
you for your services as well.
Do you have to do this
Definitely.
stuff,
down
'cause,
below?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the links below.
Yeah, definitely. But just to
yeah.
let you know, in Gloucestershire, there are now support groups around in Gloucestershire. I'll send you the links and you can
Yeah,
put
we
it
can
into
pop those out there.
pop them out there. So that's just recently started this year. So it's been funded by Gloucester County Council, I believe.
And we'll just quickly say we've got our website up and running now.
Yeah.
And we'll be putting all of
Lots
these
of
kind of
links
resources
and,
on there. So
That is a good-
lifeinthemind.co.uk, I believe. But again, we'll pop links to that in various different places. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
You're
This has
welcome.
been really interesting. Yeah, really, really good conversation. And yeah,
Yeah, and I'm sorry I'm not Jamie, but
one day you may be. Right, bye.
bye.
Okay, folks, that's it for this episode. You can follow us on Instagram at life.inthemind. Our other socials are linked in our bio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time.